me just lift your arms up.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
It's okay. You're being really good. So I'm just going to get my gait belt on out here so I don't have to talk about gait belts anymore because I think we've all concluded that gait belts are important. All right. Now, I've removed the leg rests out here. Okay. If I don't remove the leg rests until in here, you have to do that and position the chair and whatever. But if you do them out here, what do I have to pay attention to as I pull him into the bathroom? Right. You don't want his leg to like go underneath the wheelchair, do you? No, it's frowned upon. All right. So we're going to go into the bathroom, Bill. We're going to transfer from the wheelchair over to that toilet. Do you see that toilet? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. All right. Can you lift your legs up? You can lift this one. Okay. Lift that one up. This one. All right, that one's a little hard. I'm going to help you, okay? We're going to bring you right into the bathroom. Okay? Now, because I already took the leg rests off out there, I don't have to manage them in here. I'm not saying that that's the right way to do it. I still had to manage Bill out there to get him in here. So you can take the leg rests off in here. There's no points off for that. But how you position the wheelchair to get over to the toilet does matter, okay? Do I have any hiding over there? Okay, good. All right. We're going to go from the wheelchair over to this toilet. Bill, we're not going to stand all the way up, but you are going to help me as much as you can yourself, okay? So when I'm instructing Bill, I am going to position the wheelchair. Now, right now, Bill is about a foot away from the toilet. That is not where I want Bill when I'm doing a squat pivot transfer. Why?
That's just harder on
Well,
your body.
you saw me squat pivot over from the mat to the wheelchair a couple times just now. Was the wheelchair a foot away from the mat? No. If I'm helping somebody squat pivot, it's because they can't really fully stand and they can't really fully stand pivot themselves. So I am doing some of the work. They have the potential then to lose their balance or buckle and end up on the floor if there's space here between the wheelchair and the surface. And right now, this surface just happens to be the toilet, but this surface could be the bed, it could be a couch, it could be a chair, it could be a commode, it could be whatever you want it to be. A surface to the surface. Now, when we did Sarah's transfer evals, we went from the bed to the wheelchair, and that wheelchair was right up against the bed, wasn't it? And that slide board was positioned so that you had that bridge. But right now, you have to be part of this transfer because you are in the squat pivot with Bill, okay? Because you're part of it, you have to allow yourself some room, but not feet. So if you're positioning here and doing a squat pivot, I'm not saying it's not going to go well. You'll probably get there. What I'm saying is you want to prevent any risk of falls in between those surfaces. So the way that I would position myself is allowing myself, maybe right now I have about this much space between this side of the wheelchair and the surface that I'm going to the toilet. So it's about this much, okay? Not a foot, not more than a foot, none of that, okay? Because really, even if we got caught in the middle and Bill had to somehow sit on my leg and the toilet, he's not gonna sit on the floor, okay? Because the floor is not possible. There's not enough space for Bill to fit on the floor in between these two surfaces, okay? Those are things to keep in mind. All right. So once I get the wheelchair in position, what's important? Locking the brakes, okay, prior to a transfer. Bill's arm was already in the wheelchair because I didn't leave it behind, and it didn't get caught in the wheel when I moved him in here, right? All right, so Bill, what I want you to do is go ahead and scoot your hips to the edge of the chair as much as you can. And he has some core control, not like Sarah, right? Sarah had poor trunk balance, poor trunk control. Didn't she? She couldn't just pull herself to the side, to the edge of the chair. No matter what the transfer, you still want to come to the edge of the surface that you're transferring from. Because if you're too far back, you can't really do it. Whether you're going from sit to stand, whether you're going to a slide board or a squat pivot. Okay? So we get to this surface. Make sure that the feet are wide enough apart, but not too wide, okay? Make sure that the feet are flat on the floor. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this armrest out of the way, Bill. Okay, and you see that toilet? Okay, good. You wanna make sure your client knows what you're doing with them, okay? Because Bill might not have ever transferred to a toilet like this in his entire life. And you're asking him to get over there? Well, he's not used to doing this at all. So you have to pretend that the cues that you're giving him have to be so obvious to that client so that they understand the process so it doesn't scare them too. Okay, what we're gonna do, your feet are gonna be flat on the floor. You're gonna use your legs as much as you can, Bill. Okay, I know you can't really use this left arm, but we're gonna use this right arm, and I want you to reach as far over to this side of the toilet as you can. Now, what does that do to Bill? It shifts his weight forward, okay? Different than what we just saw in that video. That gentleman was leaning back like he was water skiing, and she just got him up. She didn't lean him forward. She didn't shift his center of gravity and his mass over his feet. So right now, what I'm doing is just by him reaching over here to this toilet, I'm allowing him the ability to shift his weight, and he's already going in the direction that I need him to go to. Yes.
All right. In the real world, obviously, you go to the bathroom and you need to remove your pants.
I was just
At
gonna
what
ask that.
point would you be doing that? Right now?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
It depends on the situation,
Okay.
okay? Because he's not going into full standing, is he?
Right.
Okay, so think about that as I transfer.
Okay.
Okay, so on the count of 3, we're gonna go from this surface, your wheelchair, over here to this toilet. So you help me as much as you can though, Bill, okay? All right, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, you did a little bit more than you should have, but that's okay. So go ahead, you can sit, you don't have to be my person anymore.
Okay.
Okay, so that being said, you said, well, yeah, real life, people have to like pull their pants down. You can take that off if you want. You can do it in a lot of different ways. But Bill's not, now, because Bill can stand with mod assist, essentially, depending on the situation, if he had grab bars to hold on to, there's no grab bars. I don't want him reaching for this to pull himself over, because this is just the toilet paper holder. But you could try to pull down in here, because it's a stable surface, and then do the pivot quickly, but then your pants are below your knees. You could just pull them slightly down past the bottom, and then do the pivot. See how it kind of is dependent on the situation, or you can be on the toilet, which is less of a stable surface. It's not as big as the wheelchair, so if he has to do weight shift to kind of do this,
Well, it depends what time of underwear and.
there you go. So many different variables. We don't have to do that during your transfer practical. Nobody's gonna be, but I'm glad you're thinking that way, because honestly, when you go to the bathroom, you are pulling pants down if they have pants. For him though, you can moderately assist him into like a stand, because he's not dependent. He can use his right hand and pull his stuff down once he gets there. So maybe do the transfer once he's here. All right, now Bill, you know what? We're gonna stand up a little bit. And now I want you to just pull your pants down as much as you can, and you don't even have to come into complete full standing.
So put him down, make sure he's in a good position, then pull him back up slightly.
Yeah, just making sure you're paying attention to those feet. Because if you get Bill over here and you have him stand up just to get his pants down, because he's gotta really go, okay? And you're gonna feel rushed in those instances. But if his left foot is like this, then he's gonna, because of the weakness, so always pay attention from head to toe. Like, are his feet flat on the floor? He's able to use his right arm, no problem. So you have to almost trial what's the best and easiest for him to maneuver or him to understand, and then work with that. And right now at this stage, because we're still doing squat pivots to the toilet, it might just be get him over there and then just slightly stand and then have him pull his pants down. Okay? And then sit back down.